Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now I love me some Billie Eilish. I remember being back in college and listening to her EPs or just like the singles that she would release, you know, walking from class to class or whatever. This is like before her album even had come out. So when I saw recently that she did an interview with British Vogue, of course I read it. Of course, you know, I was all about it. The pictures, chef kiss, so good. But when I saw that Steven Crowder started attacking poor little Billie Eilish, I'm not gonna say poor little Billie Eilish, she's fine. She does not care about Crowder whatsoever. Of course I had to check out what was going on, but more than that, I have to come out here and stand up for my girl. So yes, in today's video, we're gonna be reacting to this Steven Crowder video. The video is titled Billie Eilish Doesn't Understand Empowerment. So I mean, it's gotta be good, you know? I'm sure he knows all about empowerment. I post new videos here on my channel every Monday and Thursday, so if you are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait for you. Waiting so patiently because I'm really not looking forward to listening to Steven Crowder's voice. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to keep us up to date with me as possible. And I also have a Patreon, so if you like the work that I do here on my channel and you want to donate, the link for that will be down below as well. But yes, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So if you haven't read the British Vogue interview with Billie Eilish or seen the pictures, first of all, you're welcome. Check out these pictures right now. Get a load of this. So good, so fun, so fresh. But in this interview, Billie talks about a lot of different things from, you know, her upcoming album to her aesthetic change that is, you know, coming along with that album. But more importantly, the interview covers Billie's attempt to, you know, control her own narrative and call out the abusive nature that often comes with fame. This whole video is just gonna be a plug for Billie Eilish, but if you haven't heard her new single, Your Power, I definitely recommend you check it out after this video. It's super good, super fun and fresh. I need to not say that ever again. But the single addresses the abuse that famous people, specifically men, no offense men, love you men, but it really focuses on that abuse that famous men are often the perpetrators of. Billie encourages not only those men to check themselves and make sure that they are not doing anything wrong with their power, but also reminds the listener or the viewer to be aware of those power imbalances as well. Billie is also sure to emphasize that the body positivity and the confidence that she promotes is not dependent on being modest or being non-sexual or being perceived as modest and non-sexual. It's about doing what makes you feel good, whether that be getting plastic surgery, not getting plastic surgery, wearing something that, you know, the public or society would deem inappropriate for you to wear. I mean, of course, don't go out like naked and like exposing yourself to people, but you know what I'm saying. A quote from the interview says, "Suddenly you're a hypocrite if you want to show your skin, and you're easy and you're a slut and you're a whore. If I am, then I'm proud. Me and all the girls are hoes, and fuck it, you know? Let's turn it around and be empowered in that. Showing your body and showing your skin, or not, should not take any respect away from you." I feel like that quote just perfectly shows what the whole interview is about, but I do want to move into reacting to the video now, but if you haven't read that interview, it's a really cool interview. She talks about a lot of different things, and I really enjoyed reading it, so yeah, that's that on that. Anyways, like I said, the Steven Crowder video that we're going to be reacting to today is titled Billie Eilish Doesn't Understand Empowerment. Let's see what this is going to be all about.
Okay, so Billie Eilish gave an interview for British Vogue, and before I get into anything else, it should be noted that her middle name is Pirate. By the way, I almost said he.
Really?
I almost said he because I'm so messed up with the pronouns.
You didn't though. You didn't mess them up. I'm proud of you, Steven. It's probably one of the only times you didn't mess up someone's pronouns.
She said this about men, Billie Eilish. She said, "I really think the bottom line is men are very weak." Imagine if those roles were reversed. I just think the bottom line is women are really weak.
Do conservatives not say that all the time? Not only does the right consistently portray women as being physically weaker than men, but they often will play into the narrative of women being over-emotional and not being qualified to be in a position of power because of that emotion. He's like, imagine if somebody were to ever say that women were weak. Like, Steven, they have. They've been saying that for quite a while now. Where have you been?
And she goes on to say, it's just so easy for them to lose it. You expect the dude not to grab you if you're wearing that dress. Seriously, you're that weak. Come on, go masturbate. Okay, good. Let me just point out, without men, none of this interview would be possible. So the interview was given to British Vogue, obviously a print magazine, printing press, invented by a man, Gutenberg. I don't think. Johann Zahn, a man, invented the camera, of course, for the photo shoot.
I'm pausing you. I'm literally pausing you. How do I even respond to this? I'm not going to try to discredit the inventors of the printing press and the camera. Like, bravo. Great job, bro. I'm so proud of you. He's really trying to make it seem like a woman could never possibly invent a printing press or could never possibly invent such advanced technology as a camera. And therefore, we need men or else none of this would have been possible. We would have still been cave women. Firstly, this is irrelevant to the conversation. Like literally just so irrelevant to what Billie is trying to say, but I'll go with it for a second. Steven, Do you know what was happening to women when the printing press and cameras were being invented? Women did not have the same rights as men. Women did not have the same opportunity as men. So it's not that a woman doesn't have the intelligence to invent a printing press or invent a camera. It's literally that they were not given the option to even try. I found one quote talking about women in France in the 1900s. It says, "The sons and daughters of the noble and bourgeois elites were given gender-specific educations. Boys were sent to upper school, perhaps a university, while their sisters, if they were lucky enough to even leave the house, would be sent to board at a convent with a vague curriculum." But again, like, how is any of this even relevant? Billy's like, men need to have more self-control. And Steven's like, well, we invented your effing camera. How dare you?
Well, and one of the points that she made, I want to make this because women misunderstand this. They think it's just like we just don't have self-control. When she says, come on, are you serious? You're just going to lose it like that? Go and, you know what she said, right? We are hardwired for this. You have no idea what it's like. And I mean that. If any woman out there is pissed off at me right now, you're wrong. You have no idea what it's like to be a 16-year-old male trying not to think about sex. I don't care what you're wearing, just hard enough as it is.
He's right. I've never been a 16-year-old male ever in my whole life. I'm just kidding. I actually kind of have. I'm trans, bitch, if you didn't know. This dude over here, I don't even know who this man is, but he's like, women have no idea what it's like. We are hardwired to want to do this to women all the time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. All right. Billy's like, men need to have more self-control and not touch women when they don't want to be touched. And he's like, we are hardwired to touch women when they don't want to be touched. Like, boy, oh my God. Are you really going to say that on camera? Are you really going to let everybody know that? I actually do know firsthand what it's like to... Nobody mentioned this now. Absolutely nobody. I do know what it's like to be a 16-year-old male and have all that testosterone, all those hormones in your body. And bro, I never touched anybody without their consent. Period. That is what Billy is referring to. Let's be clear. She's not saying that you can never think about sex like he's trying to make it seem like. She's saying that if somebody does not want you to touch them, you should have enough self-control to not touch them. And just for the record, even if you are 16, even if you're at the peak of puberty, you have the most testosterone that you'll ever have, whatever, even if a girl is wearing the most revealing clothing you've ever seen, if you touch her without her consent, you are 100% weak. Like, that's it. There's no argument to be made. You are weak.
Men need to do a better job of helping other men deal with that kind of stuff. But you have to understand, it is not just because men are weak. That's not weakness. There are tons of men who just...
I'm confused. Did you say only 16-year-olds?
Not just 16-year-olds. I'm just saying at that particular moment in time, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah,
okay?
it's pretty difficult to think about anything else. Come on.
You can think about sex 24/7. That's fine. You do you. Like, it's none of my business what you think about. And honestly, I don't want to know what goes through Steven Crowder's head. Like, I really just don't. But again, if you touch a woman just because she has revealing clothing on, you are weak. It's not because men are weak. It's because we're hardwired this way. I don't care. If you're really that strongly hardwired that you can't control yourself around somebody that wants nothing to do with you, then you need to, like, go somewhere. Like, you need to get that under control. That is nobody's problem but your own. There is no excuse, period. I also want to clarify, because I know I'm going to get some comments like, she can't just say men are weak. Like, that just makes us all seem like we would just do all that kind of stuff, and it's not all men, blah, blah, blah. Like, we know it's not all men. I'm not even going to address this. You know who I'm going to let address this? I saw a TikTok from a friend of mine named Christina. She did a great job addressing this whole not all men argument. So I'm just going to let her, take it away. Go ahead, Christina. Go ahead.
Between saying all men and some men, but my lovely lesbian queen.
This is such a brain dead take, but I am explaining to you why it's wrong. We as humans generalize things all the time. The example I like to use is when we say, be careful around ticks because ticks carry Lyme disease. No one says, well, not all ticks carry Lyme disease, because logically we understand that enough ticks carry Lyme disease that you could be infected. Now, personally, I'm a radical feminist, and I have never once heard a woman who has said, all men are rapists. So that's just disingenuous to place that ideology onto us. But when we speak up about women's oppression and women's abuse, we obviously know it's not all men. But when 1 in 3 women in their lifetime are either raped or physically abused by a man, it is enough men. That is enough men to make all women afraid. That is enough men that when I'm walking home alone at night, I have to assume it's all men to keep myself safe. But when men like you sit on this app and make our pain and our abuse and our oppression about yourselves, it is helping no one. We know it's not all men, but it's enough men to keep us in a constant state of fear, and that's how oppression works.
Thank you very much. Moving on.
Okay, look, and I know we have a lot of, and I'm a Christian, but this is just real talk. What was your boner hide method in high school?
Jeez.
Did you go with the up tuck?
He needs to know about you guys' boner hiding methods. He needs to know. Leave it in the Don't leave it in the comments. Do not leave any of that in my comments. Steven, if you must know, I mean, I've tucked it up once or twice. Is he talking about a different kind of tuck it up? What do you mean? Steven's just trying to learn how to tuck it up. I'm just trying to help him out.
Satanists understand that all gods are fiction. Instead of bending the knee in worship to or seeking friendship or unity with such mythical entities, he places himself at the center of his own subjective universe as his own highest value. Let's compare this with the Billie Eilish quotes from the article. By the way, a role model for kids. If you're about body positivity, why would you wear a corset? Talking about her thing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you show your actual body? She raises her eyebrows. My thing is I can do whatever I want. Confidence is her only gospel, she says. Yet that intent has been spun into a lot of weird miscommunication. She clears it up. It's all about what makes you feel good. If you want to get surgery, go get surgery. If you want to wear a dress that somebody thinks you look too big wearing, f it. If you feel good, you'll look good. You look good. Nope.
No.
Do you know how I know that's? Do you know how I know that's true? Because you're not wearing a corset and push-up bra when you're at home binge watching Game of Thrones. You're in your sweatpants. You are putting that on to look good for someone else. Sorry, that's why women wear rouge, to simulate the flushing during a sexual encounter.
That's why I'm wearing blush right now. I'm gonna go take it off. I don't want Steven to ever see me with blush on, ever. I really don't understand how he's comparing Billie Eilish to Satanism. I admit, I'm fully lost on that. Fully lost. I have no idea. I don't see the connection at all. He's like, well, Satanism is making yourself the center of your own world because, you know, God isn't real, so you should just make yourself be God. I don't know the exact definition of Satanism. I don't know if that's correct at all, but is he trying to say that, like, dressing however you want and dressing however is going to make you happy is similar to the ideals of Satanism? Because, like, you don't have concern for how other people perceive. I'm fully lost. He goes from that and then jumps into how, well, you're not wearing that corset for yourself. You're wearing it for other people. Duh. You don't wear makeup for yourself. You use it to you know, look like, you know, that sex. Do we really need to go over the reasons why women wear corsets or wear makeup? Oh, Steven. Okay. Sometimes, yeah, maybe it is to look more appealing for a potential partner. That's a possibility, of course. But at least in my case, most of the men that I talk to actually prefer me with no makeup on, prefer me with very little makeup on. Like, they're not about the full glam moment. So, like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Not to mention the fact that literal studies have been published showing that men prefer women who, you know, wear less makeup. The reality is people wear makeup for a lot of different reasons. Like I said, yeah, it might be to impress a potential partner, but most of the time that's not the case. It's more likely that they just enjoy wearing makeup. They enjoy the act of putting makeup on. Maybe they have some insecurities that they don't feel comfortable with other people seeing. Maybe it makes them feel more confident, or maybe even, Steven, they recognize that being conventionally attractive in today's society does offer somewhat of an advantage, whether it be in business or in, you know, personal interactions that you may have with other people. In Billie's case, she literally says in the interview, like a paragraph above what he included in his video, that she wears a corset not only because she likes, you know, the style of them, but because she's insecure about her stomach. The interview says, although Eilish wanted to explore their beauty, talking about corsets, the shapes, lacing, design, she was also drawn to their original restrictive function. If I'm honest with you, I hate my stomach, and that's why. She thinks that's shallow. I disagree. It's hard enough for anyone to negotiate the conflict between intellectually rejecting patriarchal beauty standards and hardwired personal frustration, let alone when you're one of the most scrutinized teenagers in the world and your body is, as Eilish calls it, your deepest insecurity. I love that paragraph. Wow. Beautifully written.
Then she went on to say, suddenly you're a hypocrite if you want to show your skin, and you're easy, and you're a slut, and you're a whore. If I am, then I'm proud. Well, wonderful. Me and all the girls and hoes, and it, you know? Let's turn it around and be empowered in that. Showing your body and showing your skin, or not, should not take any respect away from you. Okay, here's the thing. It does, though. It does. You would see an attractive girl, and then you would see an attractive girl dressed like a prostitute. Now, they're both the same level of attractive. However, you think of one primarily and only sexually, and you think of another one as one you respect and one who you'd be interested in courting. That's a fact.
Billie argues that wearing less clothing or wearing more revealing clothing should not change the way that other people perceive you, and it shouldn't change the amount of respect that you deserve. And Steven just responds, well, it does. Well, it does. Like, no shit, Sherlock. That's the effing problem. People like you, Steven, who equate the amount of clothing that somebody wears to the amount of respect that they deserve, are precisely the problem. Like, let's just really break this down, okay? Let's help Steven really break this down. What is it about wearing revealing clothing that automatically means that somebody is less worthy of respect? Is it maybe, just maybe, the sexist notions that say that women need to be pure and virginal to be worthy of respect or be worthy of love or, you know, wife material? Men like Steven still view women who are sexual as less valuable because other men may have seen those women's bodies and therefore they are, you know, less pure and innocent and virginal. Let's just call it what it is. It's sexist and it's gross.
Do whatever you want, whenever you want. Everything else. I don't know. How about responsibilities? How about love, empathy, compassion, moral virtue, responsibility, discipline? Not everything that's not a Dita Von Teese branded corset push-up bra. There are other things in life that I think you'll find are more important at some point.
Steven. Billy's not saying go be an asshole and steal from the poor if you want. That whatever makes you happy. She's literally saying if you want to wear a corset, that's cool, I support you. No biggie. Like, why are you so butthurt about this? It's so ironic that he's saying, well, what about having empathy? And what about having compassion? Those are important. While literally simultaneously saying that she deserves less respect because of what she's wearing. Why don't you feel empathetic to the fact that she's insecure about her body? Where's the empathy? Where's the compassion, Steven?
This is something they say, well, we never had a choice, right? You're expected to be a mom. No, let me give you some perspective here. You're a young girl. You were growing up. You were maybe going into junior high. You know, maybe you were going into high school. The point is maybe you were approaching that 15, 16-year-old mark that Billie Eilish was talking about. Did your parents say, hey, by the way, you have to be a stay-at-home mom. You have no choice? Or did your parents say, hey, look, when you grow up, you can be anything you want to be? Anyone here, any guy here, Darren, Gerald, Quarter Black Garrett, anyone. When your parents had a talk with you, and I remember you having a talk with me when you told me what a man should be, Dad, when you told me what a man would have to do when he grew up, were any of you provided with the choice of, hey, son, now that you're getting older, you're going to have to learn how to provide for yourself. You're going to have to learn how to take responsibility. Oh, and by the way, you can also just be a stay-at-home dad. That's a choice. Was anyone ever even offered that on the table?
His argument is basically that women are told they can be whatever they want, but men are told that they need to provide. And so therefore, women actually have a lot more options and they have a lot more freedom to do what they really want in life. First of all, as I said before, I was raised as a boy. Surprise. My parents have always taught me that everybody is equal, especially when it comes to providing for your family. But let's just be clear, if I was told that I needed to prepare to provide for my family for the rest of my life or provide for my wife for the rest of my life, that would have been problematic. And we can talk about the unfair pressures that are put on young boys if you want to, Steven, but then you go on 10 seconds later and say that you support telling young boys that they need to provide for their family. So like, what's the point of even bringing this up? Are you just trying to make sure that women's feelings are invalidated? Like, is that the only reason? I do not care about what your studio of men think about how women are raised or what they are taught. Young girls are consistently told where they belong in this world, whether that be subliminal or explicit. Maybe it doesn't happen the way you described with girls' parents saying you need to grow up to be a mom, but it does happen through other ways that are much more subtle, like unequal pay for the same exact job, which subtly tells women that they are not as suited for a certain job than a man. Not to mention the barriers of entry that women have to face that no men have to face going into business settings, not to mention the fact that the majority of people in these business settings are men, and not to mention, again, the lack of respect that is given to women in these business settings. I'm not saying that men do not experience obstacles or they do not experience hardships when going for a certain career or whatever, but I am saying that women face a set of obstacles and situations that men will never have to experience. In conclusion, I stand Billie Eilish still. We love Billie Eilish. What was the whole point of his argument? What's his thesis statement, if you will? I don't know, that wearing less clothing makes you a whore? Is that what he's trying to say? Anyways, that is the end of that video, and it's going to be the end of this video as well. In conclusion, wear whatever you want, and if a man does something that you do not want them to do, that is on them. Whether you're a fully developed man or a 16-year-old boy and you do something to a woman that that woman does not want you to do to her, you are weak. If you like this video, if you stan Billie Eilish, go give this video a thumbs up down below. It really helps me out a lot. Make sure to leave a comment with your opinions. I'd love to know what you all think. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in Thursday's video. Bye, everyone.